Chapter 1. A Strange Hat. It was a cold morning in December. I went to visit my friend Sherlock Holmes at his flat in Baker Street, London. Holmes was sitting in his chair next to the fire. On the table in front of him there was a large old hat. "Good morning, Watson," he said. "Come and look at this. A man called Peterson found this near Covent Garden last night. A group of men were fighting in the street. One man dropped a goose and ran away. Peterson took the goose home for his family to eat, but he left the hat here for me to study." "Who is the man?" I asked. "We don't know yet," said Holmes, "but the hat can tell us many things about its owner." Holmes picked up the hat and studied it carefully. "This man is intelligent," he said, "but he has serious money problems. He used to be rich, but not anymore." I was surprised. "How do you know all this from a hat?" "The hat is large. A large head usually means a large brain. But the hat is very old and dirty. A man with money would buy a new one. And look here, there are small brown stains on the inside." Holmes pointed to the marks. "These stains come from sweat mixed with something else. Alcohol. This man drinks too much, and it shows in his sweat." "Remarkable," I said. "Also," said Holmes, "the hat has not been cleaned or brushed for months. When a husband has problems, a caring wife usually helps him. She cleans his clothes. She takes care of him. But no one has cared for this hat, so either this man lives alone, or his wife has given up on him, perhaps because of his drinking. Either way, things at home are not good." Just then, there was a knock at the door. It was Peterson. His eyes were wide with excitement. "Mr. Holmes," he said breathlessly, "when my wife cut open the goose this morning to cook it, she found something inside." He opened his hand. There on his palm was a beautiful blue diamond. It was the size of a large bean, and it shone like a star. Chapter 2. The Famous Gem. Holmes took the diamond and held it up to the light. "Watson," he said quietly, "do you know what this is?" "A diamond?" I said. "Not just any diamond. This is the Blue Carbuncle. It is worth £20,000. The newspapers say it was stolen from the Hotel Cosmopolitan 5 days ago. A woman called Lady Morcar reported it missing. The police arrested a man called John Horner. They think he took it." "Then we must return it to the police," I said. "Yes," said Holmes. "Peterson, please take the diamond to the police station now, so that John Horner can be freed. But first, do you still have the goose's feathers?" "Yes," said Peterson. "My wife kept them." "Good. Bring them to me. There may be a clue." Peterson left. Holmes examined the feathers carefully and found a small note tied to one of them. It said, "For Mrs. Henry Baker, from the Alpha Inn." "So the goose belonged to someone called Henry Baker," I said. "Exactly," said Holmes, "and I must find him." Holmes placed a small advertisement in the evening newspaper. "Found near Covent Garden. 1 goose and 1 hat. The owner can collect these items at 221 B. Baker Street this evening." Chapter 3. Henry Baker. That evening, a tall man with a large head came to the door. It was Henry Baker. "Good evening, Mr. Baker," said Holmes. "Please sit down. I believe this hat is yours." "Yes." "Thank you, Mr. Holmes," said the man. He looked very happy to have his hat back. "And your goose?" said Holmes. "I'm afraid we already cooked it, but I have another goose for you." "That is very kind," said Mr. Baker. Holmes gave him a different goose and watched him carefully. Do you know where your original goose came from, Mr. Baker? Yes, said the man. I am a member of the Alpha Inn Goose Club. Every Christmas, members pay a small amount of money each week. At the end of the year, the club buys a goose for each member. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Merry Christmas, said Holmes. After the man left, Holmes turned to me. He knows nothing about the diamond. I'm sure of it. Watson, come, we must visit the Alpha Inn. We put on our coats and walked through the cold London streets. At the Alpha Inn, Holmes spoke to the owner, a man called Windigate. The geese? Said Windigate. I bought them from a man called Breckenridge at the market in Covent Garden. Chapter 4. Following the goose, Holmes and I walked to Covent Garden Market. We found a stall owned by a man called Breckenridge. He was a big man, with a loud voice. Where did you get your geese? Holmes asked. I don't answer questions about my business, said Breckenridge rudely. Holmes smiled. He put some money on the table. A bet, he said. I say your geese came from the country. My friend says they came from London. Who is correct? Breckenridge laughed. You lose. They came from a woman in London, Mrs. Oakshott in Brixton. She raised them herself. Just then, a small nervous man appeared near the stall. He was asking Breckenridge the same questions about the geese. Breckenridge shouted at him and told him to go away. Holmes followed the small man into a quiet alley. James Ryder, he said calmly. The man stopped and looked terrified. How do you know my name? Said Ryder. I know many things, said Holmes. Please, come with us. Chapter 5. The Truth. Back at Baker Street. Holmes sat Ryder in a chair by the fire. The man's hands were shaking. You work at the Hotel Cosmopolitan, said Holmes. It was not a question. Yes, said Ryder quietly. And you stole Lady Morcar's diamond. Ryder began to cry. Please, Mr. Holmes. I made a terrible mistake. I needed money. I knew where Lady Morcar kept the diamond. I took it. But then you had a problem, said Holmes. You were afraid the police would search your room and find it. Yes, said Ryder. So I went to visit my sister, Mrs. Oakshott, the woman who raises geese in Brixton. I needed a hiding place. I chose one of the geese, a white one with a black mark on its tail. I opened its beak and pushed the diamond down its throat. Then I closed its beak. The diamond was safe inside the bird. Clever, said Holmes. But then, I planned to take that goose home with me. I told my sister I wanted the white one with the black tail, but in the dark, there were 2 white geese with black tails. I took the wrong one. Ryder put his face in his hands. I didn't know until I got home and killed the bird. There was nothing inside. I had the wrong goose. And when you went back to your sister's house? The other goose was already gone. She had sold it to Breckenridge at the market. By the time I found Breckenridge, he had already sold it to the Alpha Inn. The goose had moved from hand to hand, and I had no idea where the diamond was. Until tonight, said Holmes quietly, when you found me. Please, Mr. Holmes, said Ryder, falling to his knees. I have never done anything like this before, and an innocent man, John Horner, is in prison because of me. I'm so ashamed. Holmes was silent for a long moment. Get up, he said quietly. The diamond is already with the police. John Horner will be freed tomorrow. Go home, Ryder. Tell no one. But if I ever hear your name again, in connection with a crime, I will not be so kind. Ryder ran out of the flat as fast as he could. I looked at Holmes. "You let him go? The diamond is safe. An innocent man will go free. And this young fool has had the worst night of his life. I think he has learned his lesson." Holmes picked up his pipe and smiled. "Besides, Watson, it is Christmas.